Alrighty, I have no idea how this works, so I don't know if that was heard. I don't even know if you can hear me really. Yeah, this is the beginning of my grand plan and idea here of what I wanted to do. This time I'd like to try to figure out how to share that. Share that we are live. So either way, welcome. If you're tuning in, you most likely know me. So I don't need to introduce myself at this point. Just a little background on what I was doing here. So the main idea is, first of all, it started out as the idea was to make every provincial team out there, so the best players from each province, create a team, play that tournament. However, NHL for some reason now they don't allow you to play like world tournament modes and stuff like that. So I was just playing every game on just playing exhibition game after exhibition game and putting the data into a laptop Excel sheet. So I've been doing that. I did that for the last couple of years of NHL, but I would just do that with just the international teams. But like I said, this one kind of went a little deeper, and we went into the Alberta teams and all the provincial teams. Then I figured out that if you use the National League and play a season mode, it's 12 teams, each team plays 50 games. So from that I decided to build the 3 US teams, sort of built off of geographically, and that's where this one came from. Further built onto that, like I said, I built a European division, so I'll show that next, but I have 3 teams from Sweden, 3 teams from Russia, 3 teams from Finland, 2 teams from Czech Republic, and then I added the team Germany into there, just because I enjoy Stutzel and being from north central Alberta, enjoy Dreisaitl, so that's why I picked them to be the fill-in team. And yeah, so the whole idea is that, like I said, I know not lots gonna be tuning in every day and stuff. But yeah, hopefully, from my understanding, this will record and then people can refer back to it. So this first little bit, I'm just gonna go through and show show all the rosters. But if you bear with me for 1 second, that's not what I want. There we go. Share to Twitter. There we are. Now my friends can come watch me, if anyone. Anyway, so like I said, breaking down the rosters here, and the initial idea came from a guy on Twitter. I tagged him in one of my tweets there, but Jay Fresh Hockey, he started out I believe it was just in December, he started out as he was doing it just for fun. He just did the Alberta World Championships, he called it, or the Briar of Hockey, and I kind of just built off of that. But yeah, so we'll go through here. We got Team Alberta, and to note, if there is people that you're seeing and you have an argument that they're not from there or they're stuff like that, well, then you can blame the Google machine, because this is the best I can ever do with the unlimited knowledge of the internet. This is what they told me. So yeah, so as you can see, Team Alberta pretty strong, top heavy. The defense is pretty strong. Cale Makar is always fun to play with, extremely enjoyable. He's probably him and McDavid are my 2 favorite players to play with in this game. And then of course in the goalies you got Carter Hart. So that's nice. Nice goaltending to have there. Move on to Team BC. We have, again, pretty strong forward core there. They're pretty in. It's a tougher team to play with. For myself, in order to avoid any sort of bias or anything, for every team I just go best lines and play it as it is. That way, it's not that I'm favoriting a player or anything. My preference for this, I would move Nuge to the middle and Barzal on the right, but on the left. But like I said, I mean, Jamie Benn being your third line center isn't terrible, but I'd prefer to have him up or higher in the lineup. It's just the way it goes. Defense, strong defense. The top four is pretty dynamite. Go to the goalies, of course, Mr. Carey Price. Hard to beat. He's a guy for sure. We go into Manitoba here. This team's really hard to play with. Just they're big and slow. Definitely a way of playing a controlled game with them. On defense, it's pretty even throughout the whole lineup. Goaltending, Reimer and Drieger. So at least they have two NHLers. This is where we go into our first United States team. So this is the team from the state of Minnesota. So again, this team is also not as much fun to play with. They're slow. I left off a couple pretty good players in order to have the third line here. I like young guys, so feeding them in there. Defense is steady all the way through. And then the goalies is where they kind of have an issue. The lock's pretty strong for them, so it's not the worst case scenario. Going into New Brunswick, this is a team where their Couturier really is their guy. He really works the team. Having Myers on the back end helps out a little bit, but as you can see, not much there. Goalies, Jake Allen will add upon a lot, but as most can say in this game, when you're playing against the computer, it's basically your goalie. You can only allow 4 shots, but allow 3 goals against. So you got to play better defense. Team Nova Scotia, my favorite team to play with, just because Crosby McKinnon. It's a lot of fun. I found with this team I end up getting to just eking my way into overtime, and then you can throw Crosby and McKinnon on the ice at the same time, and you just go with that. So yeah, they're pretty fun to play with. Defensively, Graves, McIsaac's a lot of fun to play with, and Barron, 2 young guys. Like I said, I enjoy the younger guys, seeing what they can do out there. Goaltending, not strong. This is where I actually don't know if this guy's from here. This team and another team, I might have just picked a random guy who played on one of the QMJHL teams out of that area. To our second U.S. team. So this is the New York, Massachusetts team. So pretty exciting. I enjoy playing with them. I mean, anytime you can see Eichel and Patty Kane on the ice together, it's a lot of fun. Balanced all the way through, defensively strong. I think there was a couple good guys that were actually left off this team just because a lot of good defensemen from these areas. Goalies, yeah, a little tough. Kincaid and Howard. Mr. Howard just retired, but this is the way the game goes. And we go into Team Ontario. So this is them and the other U.S. team I'll show you soon are the front runners. So I mean, you got McDavid, Marner, Stamkos. Fourth line of Duchesne, Horvat, and Cirelli is pretty dynamite. Defensively, fun to play. I hate Hamilton being on the third pair, but like I said, best lines and let it ride, because that just seems to be the better way to do it. Prince Edward Island. So a couple couple NHLers. Ross the Boss Johnston. He's fun to. When you're playing with this team, he's the guy who's scoring the goals pretty much. You got the AHLer there, Josh Curry, Noah Dobson as well. So they do have a couple NHLers to help out there, and Colton Ellis. I don't know if he even is from Prince Edward Island. He's the guy chosen to go. Team Quebec, solid team all the way through. Just stocked with NHLers. Defensively, Shabbat. It's not as much fun to play with in this game as you would think. Seems to be his side-to-side mobility isn't as good as when you watch him in real life. Goalies, they got Fleury and Crawford. Again, Crawford retired, but these teams were created probably 3 months ago. So it's just been, once you create them, it's tough to work on it after that. So Team Saskatchewan, I made their jerseys way too bright, so it's really hard to watch. Really hard to play with. It hurts your eyeballs, but it's just the way it goes. Defensively, Ethan Bear, Euler, love it. The Fleury brothers on the back end. It's fun to play with. And the goalies, Mr. Holtby and Kemper there, so solid goalies. It sucks that only one gets to play each game. This is the front runner of the tournament. Like I said, it's not really a tournament, it's a season mode. But this is basically every other state in the United States. I had a hard time figuring out how to divide up this area into reasonable teams, so I just made one big team, and of course they're stacked. Fun to play with though. Decor, like again, Hughes being on the third pairing, kind of. You'd like to get him more ice time, but that's just where he is. Goalies, Hellebuck and Gibson, strongest goalie tandem in the tournament. Yeah, that's the teams. So. For my first bit, I like to just I'm just gonna focus on the North American side of it. In another stream here, I will probably take a look at. You know what? Actually, I'm just going to leave this one. I'm gonna end this stream just so that people can have this to refer to when they're if they're ever asking about rosters or anything. I don't know how to stop. Stop. Siri, stop. Let's see.